Welcome back to the podcast. Today we've got a repeated guest on the show today, someone who's been working with us for 14 months and probably one of our members that you always see on social media. Mitchie, welcome to the show today. How are you doing today?
Hey, good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Likewise. So I remember the last time we met through a podcast, it was July last year, August last year, I believe, right?
Yeah, it was like I believe it was August, and we talked about mental health and fitness, and I remember I was not sure if I wanted to get on board just yet, but yeah, that was cool.
It's crazy looking back. I was thinking, was it last year, the year before? I'm almost like, it was only a year ago, and so much has changed because remember, it was like the September period we initially got started. For you, looking back, I know we've got a lot of things that happened in your life. What's been looking back? What's like the one to two things that you think has changed the most for you?
Whew, honestly, I feel like everything has changed, but I feel like the thing that has changed the most is my faith and
Mm. Mhm.
um, just like the things that matter the most to me. So, like prioritizing time with my family, prioritizing each day, honestly, like taking it day by day is something that has changed the most because I've always been someone that wanted instant results, not only like in fitness, but in my faith, in relationships, internally, externally. Like I always wanted things quickly. And I think that with your guidance, I have learned to be more in the moment, which is crazy because going into my faith, like that's one of my favorite scriptures. It says, "Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow has its own worries." And that's kind of how I've been living my life for the last year. I feel like every single day that I wake up, I have to reset my mind to that scripture because we can't worry about something that doesn't exist yet. So how can you worry about tomorrow if tomorrow you don't know if it's going to happen? You don't know if you're going to walk out the door and a big something's gonna fall on you. You don't know, and that's I think that's the main thing that shift in my mindset has really been like the main thing that I've noticed has changed in my life.
Just not to go too far into that direction, but do you think about your last day a lot?
Do I think about my last day a lot? Like my last day on Earth? I don't. But I when I do think about it, when I used to think about it, it used to be really scary. Like I used to be like, oh, like I'm gonna die and then what's gonna happen? But now again, because of my faith, I do have more of a sense of peace when I think about my
Mhm.
last day. Now I think about it as God let me borrow some time on this earth, and the day that I leave is the day that God calls me back home. So
Yeah.
that brings me more peace than the world is ending and I don't know what's gonna happen. I actually do know I do know what's happening, and I have a lot of just gratitude knowing that whenever God thinks it's my time is up in the play, my time is up in the play, you know? So,
Yeah, I think it's. I'm always interested as to like whether it's positive or negative to think about it a lot. I'm kind of like neutral in terms of like thinking about it as often. It's kind of like just as much as the average person. But I'm always interested to like the perspective people have when it comes to that because like, one of my best things is like looking back and like being on the rocking chair and being like, I gave the last 60, 70, 80 years a good shot, and
yeah.
that for me is like looking forward. I want to look back and have all these memories, everything I've done with personally, fitness, life, people I've met, experiences I had. I think that looking back and being like, there's nothing I didn't do that I really want to do. It's like I think that's one of the biggest goals in life. It's the whole thing from Viktor Frankl, where it's man's search for meaning. It's like you give things meaning and they become meaningful, but without it, it's so meaningless, really. So,
Yeah.
bit of like a philosophical touch for yourself overall. Like you mentioned like you used to chase instant reward. Is that kind of still there right now compared to when we started?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely changed. There are times obviously I'm human.
Of course.
There are times where I'm like
I want to get snatched in 30 days.
I'm ready to look lean or I'm ready to make this money or I'm ready to do this and that. And again, like it's definitely been my faith. Like I know that God does not waste time. So whether I feel like I'm in a slump or like I for those that don't know, I went through a period, right? The last couple months I went untracked. I still followed all my workouts and stuff, but I kind of found myself after those months and I'm like, dang, I feel gross. I don't look the way I want to look. but it's tit for tat. So you either want to relax your body and get stronger, or restrict yourself and still go hard and then look a certain way. So you can't have it all at the same time. I mean, you can, but like Ben told me recently, he said, if you want an extreme result, you got to put in the extreme work. And
Yes.
I was like, yeah, that's it's true. If I want to have the biggest glutes in the world, I'm going to have to put in more work than a lot of the bodybuilders that we see on social media. So,
So,
yeah, I mean, my mindset right now is just take it one day at a time, and that just makes it so much easier because I just have to focus on what I have to focus on today. Obviously, they're still planning for the days ahead, but I really do try to focus on what I can do today, because that doesn't feel so overwhelming versus, oh, I still have 16 weeks left in this prep. That's a long time. That's 16 busting my verse, and then going back to that mindset. Hey, what can I do today? Today I can give it, if I have 100% to give, I can give 100. If I have, yesterday I had 60% and I gave it my 60%, which was 100%. So, yeah, I mean, I try to redirect myself as much as possible because I don't want to be in resistance with what God wants for me,
I
you know?
completely agree. I think it's also interesting to kind of like be very attached to like the journey of doing it, because just by going through the flow of like putting in the training, the food, the sleep, recovery, the structures of like what you need to do to build the body you want, but it's felt as a muscle. But I find a lot of joy within that, and like
Yeah.
at some point the outcome is just to measure that you're doing the right thing, because it's like the same as, let's say, running a business. It's that the more people you help, the more your business will grow. But like, you know, that is the goal, and like how much you earn is a byproduct of that. So it's a measure, but it's not the goal in itself. It's the same as like building a dream body. It's like the end is never the end. It's like we've done, the first time we got on board, we did a dieting phase, did a photo shoot. From there, we built a lot of muscle. Then we did a lot of maintenance period. Then you diet in and build muscle. It's always like there's always changing goals, and it's like a series of like full summits. You get to a peak, and you're like, oh, I see something bigger now. I'm gonna climb that one. You get to that, and then it opens the next door. So it never really ends. And I think it's good to have goalposts. You go in the right direction, with the actual step by step focus points where it's like, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm getting to. Then that whole like seeing yourself in the future and being like, I'm going to be a different and improved place. That's quite exciting too.
Yeah, it is so cool because
Mm.
exactly what you're saying. I definitely feel like I have the body that I wanted a year, but
Oh,
it's hiding
it's
under
normal now, right?
here. Like earlier when I was getting dressed, I I turned and I saw myself in the mirror and I was like, "Woo, girl, you're looking good." But then at the same time, I'm like, okay, it's like a scavenger hunt, Like I'm
Yeah,
technically still have like the bulk body, so I've gained some weight, but the muscle's there.
because
So
of
now
course, yeah.
I got I gotta make sure that I preserve the muscle but shred the weight at the same time. So it's literally like a scavenger hunt of
That's a
what
really good way to put it.
more muscle definition. But it's
Yeah, you're looking at fine tuning it. It's like the sport of looking good, isn't it? It's like you kind of almost like optimizing things rather than like you focus on everything. It's like these little minor details now. I like the fact that you actually said scavenger hunt. It's like looking for any deficit, improving the deficit.
yeah.
Then you're looking for the next thing after that. It's just consistent refinement, improvement, and it's like small hinges now. You pull them. For
But
yourself, looking back, what would be a year from now? What do you wish you heard that would help you fast track the progress you made?
honestly, I kind of knew this question would come, and I think it goes back to everything I've been saying is I wish that someone would just encourage me to take it day by day. Because
Mm,
again, I feel like a lot of young women and young men nowadays, we are so we have this pressure to be perfect and to look perfect, and that means waking up and making your aesthetic coffee and making sure that everything is perfect and making sure that your body's perfect and that you work out every single day, and if you miss a day you have to start all over, and it's like, no, that's not how it works. That's not how the real world works. And from the previous podcast episode that we filmed, I talked about that. I talked about my all
mm,
or mindset. And sometimes you need someone that's going to love you into changing, not hate
mm,
you. And I think that's one of the reasons why I truly love and appreciate everything that you do and everything that you stand for. And shout out to Ben as well. And even your wife, like all of you are like such an asset in people's lives, and I feel like that's what you have done for me. You have loved me into changing, and I know that you don't just do that with me. I see you doing it with all of the teammates. So I appreciate you for that, and I think that's one of the most game changing things that a coach can do, or anybody in general. Like, you cannot hate someone into changing. You
100%.
be loving, and being loving is not always just letting people do what they want. Being loving is saying the truth. Saying the truth. Like, hey, Mitchie, I've noticed you haven't responded to me in 2 weeks. Like, what's going on? How can I help you? Is there something on your mind? Can we hop on a call? And that's always been you. And so I don't feel like if I mess up, you're gonna be like, "Yo, what the hell is going on?" You're gonna be like, "What the heck? How can
I really love that. Yeah,
you
I
know?"
really appreciate you saying that as well. It's amazing. I think I heard something a while back. It's like, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, but let's say, paint the scenario, someone's about to jump off a bridge. People would go and stop them because they don't want them causing harm to themselves. Now, in modern society, if someone's drinking a lot of alcohol, doing a lot of drugs, or like eating loads of junk and not prioritize themselves, it's almost like people think when you do that, it's offensive. But like the highest level of love is like highest level of love is like telling someone what they need to hear rather than want to hear. So like, let's say for example, someone's in a car and they're drinking soda, like lots of soda, like a liter, and you knock on the car window. It's like seen as that's disrespectful to like tell someone, hey, what you're doing is harmful. So it's really interesting to how like modern society is going against like people need to be shamed into it,
Yeah.
or like if support comes from a place where it's I care for this person, that's what I'm saying it. It's like it's not taken that way. What's your thoughts on that?
Um. Again, my faith is very important to me, and that's one of the
Yeah,
main um arguments in the world. Honestly, is what is the truth and how can we convey the truth? And I think that's just like a big topic right now, especially politics. Stop shoving your beliefs down my throat, right? And in my faith, I'm Christian. When we tell you exactly what is written in our our sacred book in the Bible, some people, they're gonna be like, what? Thank you for telling me the truth. This is the truth. We're telling you the truth. Obviously, it's the way that you communicate it, because you can't.
yes.
You need to follow this way, or else you're gonna go to hell. Like that. I'm gonna want to
Yeah,
follow.
that's a different way, right? Yeah.
Um, but if
Good
you
example.
start describing the different ways that you are loved, right, according to the scriptures, or that's really how I try to go about my life nowadays.
I
Because
love that. Yeah,
about when we talk about what can we take with us when we die, we can only take people with us. We can only take souls and spirits with us when we die. That's my faith, right? So if I love you into telling you the truth that's written in this Bible, then that's my way of loving you. Even if you don't like it, but I'm always going to try to communicate that in the most loving way possible. Is
it's
it
so
okay
good.
if I share the truth with you? Yes. Okay. If not, then you know what? That was me loving you and asking you if you wanted to hear the truth. Like like we tell this to people that we love. Hey, can I tell you the truth? So you're asking someone if you can tell them the truth. Sometimes they say yes. Sometimes they're gonna be like, I don't want to hear it right now. I don't want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, and that's completely no
It's
judgment as well.
important.
I love that.
Important to honor that. Um,
Mm,
because sometimes like I fall victim to that. Like my fiance, he's truly the most God-fearing person, and sometimes I just want him to be human. I don't want to hear anything from scriptures. I'll be like, can you just talk to me like a human being, please? Because like I don't
that's
have scriptures right now. And
quality.
sometimes that's me shooting myself in the foot because I'm just continuing the negative thought pattern, or
100%.
that I'm partaking in. But I think that the main thing is how you communicate the truth to someone.
That's
You
so good.
can't just be like, because that's happened to me my entire childhood. I had family tell me, you are so fat, you're never gonna find somebody that loves you. And okay, maybe that's your truth, but maybe if you communicate the truth in a different way,
100%.
maybe you
Looking
will
at it, it's
create social connections if you look a certain way, you know?